everybody. Well, I'm coming back with another art project for you this month. And because this month is November, and we all know the big holiday that falls in November, which is Thanksgiving, we are going to draw some little Native American boys and girls. And this is an idea of what they're going to look like. So here's my little Native American girl. We're going to use crayons and watercolors. Now, if you don't have watercolors, it's okay. You can still do this project. We'll address that later in the video. And then, now this is an idea of what the Native American boy will look like. But as you can see, I did not have time to finish it, but here's a little idea. So you can decide whether you want to do a girl or a boy, and I'm going to show you how to do those later on in the video. But before we get started, I'm going to tell you the materials that we need. The materials you're going to need for this month's art project is a white piece of paper from your drawing pad, or if you do not have a drawing pad, you can use a piece of just copy printer paper. Your watercolor set with a paintbrush. If you do not have watercolors, you can still do this project. A pencil, an eraser, your crayons, and some sort of container with some water in it. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of paper and we are going to take our pencil and we are going to draw a circle in the middle of our paper for the head. Now let me do it first and then you can do it. Okay, and you should just have something like this. Notice that I left enough space at the top for her feathers, and I wanted to leave enough space below for the neck and the body. So go ahead and just draw a nice big circle there in the middle of your paper. After you have the circle drawn, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw the neck. And what we're going to do is we're going to just go to the bottom of our circle and we are just going to draw two straight lines to try to just eye and center the neck underneath the bottom of the head. So you should have something like this. And then we're going to connect those two lines with a smiley face to finish the bottom of the neck. And you should have something that looks like this. Now we're going to make the shoulders. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the corners of the bottom of our neck, and then we're going to just draw straight lines all the way to the edges of our paper. And you should have the main body of your Native American girl or boy. Now the next step I'm going to show you is we're going to draw the headband that goes around the top of their head. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down about halfway down the head, and we're going to draw a line straight across, but I put just a little curve in it. It's almost like a very faint smiley face because the head is round, so that will make the appearance that it's going around something round if you just curve your line a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. So you should have something like this going across the middle of your circle. And then we're going to go up above that line and we're going to draw another line the same way to finish off the headband. And you should have something that looks like this. Now you can see I have faint pencil lines. You don't, just ignore those faint pencil lines right now. Just pay attention to these darker lines. The only reason I had this pre-drawn just to make this go a little faster for me. So I'm just trying to make my lines darker as we go through this, all right? Now that we have the head, the headband, the neck, and the body drawn, we're going to go in and we are going to come up and put our feathers on the top of our Native American's head. Now you can put as many feathers as you want, and you can put the feathers where you want. I just put about 2 up here on the corner, and I will show you how to do that. But again, you can add as many feathers as you want. But what we're going to do is we're just going to start at the head, and we're just going to draw up and make our lines just a little curved like this, because feathers are kind of curved, they're not straight. And then I'm going to stop, and I'm just going to draw my line down and make like an upside down V, or like you're starting to draw a triangle, something like this. Okay, and then I'm going to just draw another curved line, stop, and I'm going to draw another line inward going down, and then I'm going to draw another curved line and stop at the point of my feather at the top. So you should have something that's similar to this. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing, but you're just going to go down towards the head and bring your feather down to meet at the top of your head. The only thing is, this time you're going to make your little line going up instead of down. So I'm just going to make that go up to make the point of the feather, and then just curve my line down, another line going up, and then curve that back down to the head. So you can have something that looks like this. Once you have the basic shapes of your feathers drawn, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to draw a straight line from the top of our feather down through the middle to the bottom of our feathers, to just break it up there a little bit to show the veins of our feathers. Like this. And then we're going to make some letter V's, and we're going to just put some letter V's through our feathers to create some more veins of the feathers. So we're just going to have the letter V, the bottom of the point, meet at the middle, actually at the middle line here. So we'll make a line going down and then a line going up. Now it's time to give our little girl or little boy a face. Now I just kept my face simple. I just drew 2 little circles for the eyes, and then since it's a little girl, I just made 2 little lines off the corners of the circles to represent some eyelashes. And then I just put 2 little lines above her eyes to represent some eyebrows. For the nose, I just made a straight line and then made the letter C, or a partial circle, for the nose, and then just ended her face off with a simple little smiley face. Now, you do not have to do a face that looks like mine. If you have another idea for a face, feel free to do that, but go ahead and give your little boy or girl a face. Our next step is we're going to draw the hair of our Native American girl or boy. So what we're going to do is we are going to come up to the top of the head here, and you're just going to eye the middle point, and you're just going to draw a straight line down through the center, through the top of the head, and then stop when you hit the top of your headband. So you should have something like this. Once you have that line drawn, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw some curved vertical lines across the top of the head. Now the reason we're going to make these curved is because the head is round and we want it to appear that it's round. So we can do that by making some curved lines. So I'm just going to go and start at the top of my head here, and I'm just going to draw some curved lines across the top of my head. It doesn't have to be, the curves don't have to be really, really dramatic. They can just be kind of subtle, just something like that. And you can just go ahead and put your curved lines throughout your hair. You can put as many as you want or as little as you want. So you should have something that looks similar to this. This next step is for those of you who want to draw a Native American girl. I'm going to show you how to draw her hair. And then if you want to do a boy, I'm going to show you that next. So just give me a minute and I'll show you how to do the girl, and then I'll show you how to do the boy. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here if you want to make a little girl, and over here at the side of your head, you're going to start here at the bottom of your headband, and you're going to just draw a long rectangle that goes over across her shoulder, and then you're just going to bring that back up to meet at the bottom of your headband. Once you have the lines erased in your rectangles, we're going to go in and we're going to add the details to her little braids or pigtails. So what we're going to do, I went ahead and did one on this side so you can kind of see where we're working towards. We're just going to start at the top and we're just going to make some X's down our rectangles, down her braids. And then when you get near the bottom, you're just going to draw 2 horizontal lines across to make her ponytail holder. And then to resemble the ends of her hair, we're going to just make a few, 2 or how many you want, vertical lines throughout the bottom to make it look like the ends of her hair. And then the last step to making our little girl's hair is we're going to come up here and we're going to give her some hair swooping down across her forehead. So all I'm going to do, and you can probably see it here a little bit, let me get nice and close, is we're just going to come up here towards the center of our headband, and we're just going to make a curved line sweeping down and stopping once we get to her braids. And then once you have those lines drawn, you can go ahead and draw another line through the center of those, or 2. And however, it doesn't matter how many lines, whatever you want to make it. And we're going to make that look like strands of hair. And that's your little Native American girl. If you want to do a Native American boy, what you're going to do is you're basically just drawing rectangles. And these rectangles can be as long or as short as you want them to be. So we're just going to start at the bottom of our headband, and we're just going to draw some rectangles, making it look like he has hair sticking out from underneath his headband. And I'm just going to draw some rectangles on this side of his head, and then I'm going to come over and do the same on the other side. Again, making them different lengths to just make it look a little more realistic. And then I'm even going to put a little rectangle up here in the middle to look like he has a little strand of hair hanging out between his eyes. Now I also wanted to put some hair behind his head, so I just came down here at the bottom of his head and I again just drew more rectangles. Just like that. Now, both with the little boy and the little girl, if you want to give them some ears, all I did was I just took my pencil and I just drew some semicircles or the letter C on the outside of their hair. Now, if you don't want to add the ears, you don't have to, because you can just say the ears are hiding behind the hair. But again, you just take your pencil and just draw some semicircles or the letter C on the outside of their hair. And there's your little boy and little girl. Now that we have our basic little boy or girl drawn, the rest is up to you. You're going to decide how you want to decorate or design your little boy or little girl's outfit. You can, up here at the headband, you can see that I just put some diamonds across, but you could do circles, you could do stripes. You can be creative and design this however you want it to be. Down here, I just made some circles to make it look like she had a little necklace going around her neck. But again, you won't have to do that, or you could create your own type of necklace. And then I just made some rectangles here coming off the neck, off of her neck and the top of her dress to just represent fringe, like there was some fringe going around her neck, so it didn't look so plain. But again, this is where you can just use your imagination and be creative and have fun with that. Once you have your dress or your shirt and your headband decorated how you wanted it, now it's time to grab your crayons, because what we're going to do is we're going to outline all our pencil lines with crayon. Now the reason we're going to do this is because we are going to paint our little boys and little girls in with our watercolors. And if you can see, the crayon really stands out from the watercolor. So the crayon will help us not lose our lines that we drew when we paint our watercolor. It'll allow all our detail to stick out and pop, so you can see that after we paint. But as you outline all your pencil lines with your crayons, you can notice I used different colors for different areas. So her hair, I wanted black. I outlined her hair with black crayon. Her headband, I wanted it to be orange, green, and purple. So I used those colors to outline her headband. Her face, I knew I was going to paint it brown. So I outlined her face and her neck, like all her skin, with brown. Okay, now once you have your crayon all done, we're going to go to our watercolor paints. Now, if you do not have watercolor paints, it is okay. You can still do this project. Instead of using the paints, you can use your crayons, you could use colored pencils, whatever you want to do to just color your project in. So don't feel like you can't finish this. Go ahead and just use your crayons, markers, pencils, whatever you want to do, and finish coloring your project. Those of you who are doing watercolors, let's talk a little bit about our watercolor paints here quick. Now, I'm assuming most of you are going to have one of these traditional paint sets like I have here. What you want to do is you just want to take your paintbrush and you just want to put the tip of your paintbrush in the water like this, and you're just going to wet the color of your choice that you want to use. Okay? Now you don't have to douse your paint with water. Like, this does not have to be a puddle of colored water in order for you to use these. You want to try to keep your palette neat so your colors don't get all messed up and sloppy and mixed together. Takes a little bit of water. Again, just put the tip of your brush in and then touch your color and mix it around. And then you're going to take your brush over, and I got some black paint to paint the black hair. And I'm just going to take my time and just make some nice controlled strokes through her hair. And if I see that I'm getting a little low on my water and my paint, I just go back and I get a little more paint. Now if you find that this is starting to get a little dry, all you have to do is go in, get a little more water on your brush, and just wet your paint a little more. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint a little more. Now I will let you know and make sure that you're aware, the longer your water sits on your paint, the more concentrated or the darker your color will become, because that color is just really soaking into that water, so it's going to get darker the longer it sits. Now, once you have a certain color finished, it's very important to make sure you go in and you clean your brush. Clean your brush and then scrape it along the side so you don't have a crazy amount of water in your brush. And then go to your next color. Dip the tip of your brush in and choose your next color. Just a quick note here, when you start painting your picture here, you want to make sure you start at the top and you work down to the bottom. Because if you start at the bottom or in the center, when you go to paint that top, you're liable to run your arm right through your painting. So it's just a good idea to start at the top and work down towards the bottom. Once you have your little girl or boy painted, it's time to do the background. Now, as you can see, I put some different colors in my background to just make it more colorful, but you don't have to do that. If you just want to paint it one solid color, you are welcome to do that. But if you'd like to do some different colors, it's pretty simple. All I did was I just chose the colors that I wanted to use. So maybe I went and got some blue. And then I just started painting a patch of blue. Once I had my blue patches painted, I cleaned my brush. And then I went back and I got, maybe this pretty light green. I like this lime color green. And then I just painted a patch of green. And I just did that all around my little girl until it was finished. Just remember to clean your brush in between each color. I hope you guys enjoyed the project for the month. I look forward to being able to see what you guys created. I have seen some of your art projects that you've been doing this year and they look amazing. So keep up the good work. Again, if you ever want to share your art projects with me personally, you can email them to me at faithchristianart@gmail.com, faithchristianart@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to reply back to you. Well, I hope you and your families have a wonderful, blessed Thanksgiving. And remember, even though times are kind of crazy right now, let's try to count our blessings because there's always something to be thankful for. You guys take care, and I'll see you next month. Bye.